This week's episode is brought to you by Eric H. from the YouTube channel Hey Internet, Eric here. Eric was on the show back in November and requested the featured movie because he says it was one of the worst movies he's ever seen and wanted to know what we would think of it. Well, Eric, you and everyone else are about to find out. Just a little info about Eric's channel. Each episode, Eric, sometimes joined by his lovely wife Rachel, watches a movie or old TV show episode, usually one suggested by a viewer, and they're usually pretty bad. They riff on it through the whole thing and give their overall thoughts at the end, and it is funny stuff. Mike and I got him to watch a couple of our suggestions for a show, and I don't know why he's still friends with us, honestly, because they were awful. If you'd like to check it out, I've included the YouTube link in the show notes. And if you have a movie suggestion for us to cover on this show, we're going to tell you how you can do that at the end of the episode. Guys, I got to say, I was very tired watching this. See, I can't even speak correctly. I was very tired while we were recording this. It's very late. We did this much later than usual. And this was a longer than usual episode because we had a lot to talk about. So I apologize. I have no idea what this is going to sound like. I hope it's not a mess. But you can probably tell that I was a little sleepy, probably babbled a little bit. So I'm hoping it's not too bad. But anyway, it's done. And now you get to listen to it. So let me know what you thought. Anyway, it's time to begin. This is The Graveyard Shift. Horror with Sheldon and Mike. Welcome to episode 35 of The Graveyard Shift, where each week we watch a horror movie suggested by one of you guys and break it down into the good, the bad, and the downright confusing. A category that's going to get used a lot this week. We'll talk about the plot, some production details, and anything else we find informative or entertaining. I'm your host Sheldon, and I never work The Graveyard Shift alone. Please say hello to the only thing that could make a holiday weirder than this week's movie did, my co-host Mike.
Hey everybody.
Mike, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, no thanks to this movie.
Yeah, this was something. So this movie was recommended by our friend Eric because he secretly hates us, I guess. So
we use the term friend very loosely.
Yeah, we're going to have to do... We're going to have to talk about the terms of our friendship after this one. Mike, this is going to take a long time to get through, so why don't we get started? Why don't you tell everyone what horrors await them this week?
This week's episode is more like Holidud, because we watched Holidays.
We sure did, and after watching this thing, I feel like I could use a holiday. But before we go into detail, tell me what you thought about... What did you think about this thing?
It's kind of like a mixed... It's kind of like a box of chocolates, except most of them are coconut.
Yeah. That's pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. It's... there's not much to talk about without really getting into it.
Yeah, this thing was a mess. I couldn't believe it. I mean, we were told that it was bad, but I had no idea we were in for something like that. And I think the most frustrating thing about this movie is that there were some talented people involved with it. The premise of it was good. It was just very poorly executed. And I'm being nice when I say poorly executed. This movie was a clusterfuck.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, there's talented people involved. I like Kevin Smith. Not everything he does, but for the most part, I like his work. But this was like going to an artist's exhibit and seeing that all their latest work was done by smearing their own feces on a canvas.
This is all the stuff of Leonardo da Vinci and Vincent van Gogh that doesn't get put in museums.
Absolutely.
And here you're going to see why.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. Okay, but before we begin the official teardown, here is some info on this dumpster fire. Holidays is a 2016 American horror anthology film with 8 short films based on different celebrations and each one with a different director. And I made a list of the directors. They include Kevin Smith, Gary Shore, Matt Johnson, Scott Stewart, Nicholas McCarthy, Dennis Widmeyer, Kevin Kolsk, Sarah Smith, and Anthony Scott Burns. I have no idea what the budget was or how much it made, although I know the budget was low, and I hope it made negative dollars. It has a 50%...
The theater managers demanded a refund.
You're really... It has a 50% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 24% audience score. I'm completely with the audience score on this one.
Do they just give out cocaine to the critics?
I think so. I think they're all on the take. So, like I said, it has 8 segments about different holidays. They are the holidays are Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Halloween, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. We're going to briefly talk about each one, just not spend a whole lot of time on each one, just a couple minutes.
It's kind of like putting your hand under like running liquid nitrogen. It's like if you throw your hand right under it, you'll be fine. It's only if you hold your hand there and your body heat is no longer evaporating it on contact and your hand rapidly cools down, then it comes to the point where it will shatter or break.
Exactly.
Well, those are two of the same thing. But, we have to dumb ourselves down. We have to, like, put our brains into, like, third gear just to handle revisiting this.
I could seriously do an entire episode on each one of them. But... yeah, I'm not going to give... I didn't put this much effort into my notes. I'm not going to give this movie that much time. I watched it and the whole thing, and that's more than this movie deserves. But I do want to mention just a few things, just overall. Just first off, this is something that bothers me. First off, this is just a nitpicky thing on my part, but I couldn't help but say it. It's called Holidays. Out of the 8 days he covered, only 2, Christmas and Easter, are actual holidays. The other 6 are just celebrations. Did you get the day off work for Father's Day or Halloween? No, because it's not a holiday.
I didn't get school off for St. Patty's Day.
No, which is bullshit. We should, but
yeah, I mean, like, do you know how hard it is to sneak a flask into 5th grade?
Not that hard, actually. But anyway. If you really want to know. Secondly, this is not the least bit scary. None of them were. Like, talented directors, but I don't think any of them know how to do horror. It was just not scary, not gory for the most part. There was maybe some minor gore scenes, but not much. And all the stories were very predictable. By the time you within the first few scenes of each segment, you pretty much knew where the story was going.
And the worst part is like, whenever there was like a nice twist, it just fucking stops right there. So you do nothing with it.
Yeah. And
the second it hits its stride and finds some degree of competency or attraction, that's when it's just like, fuck, no, we're going to show a Christmas card, we're done, fuck off.
Yeah. And most of the shorts didn't even make any sense. They had limited time to do each story. I think I worked it out to be about an average of about 16 minutes each. So it's hard to try a complex story.
Yeah, you would have to draw off very accomplished short story authors. Because, those people, like, some of them they do a great job of taking a small amount of time, getting you into a world, getting you into a character's space, and then putting a nice twist on it. You know who did a great job with that? Rod fucking Serling.
But the thing is, though, they didn't, like, each segment didn't have that much time. And that's probably part of the problem. I mean, they had, like I said, they had about, like, 15, 16 minutes each. It's hard to try a complex story in that amount of time. But
Yeah,
some of them do try it, and what happens is that it ends up just not making a lot of sense and ending abruptly without us ever really knowing what actually happens in most cases.
there's one thing that could have begun. I can't say would have saved it because some of these stories just were too shit to begin with. But what would have at least given them a chance to save them, which would make their failures even more profound if they had this, was cut the amount of holidays in half. 4 holidays, each one getting half an hour.
Yeah.
And that way, everyone, you have a chance to develop a world, some characters, a twist, and then do something with that twist and maybe put another twist at the end and just make you think, shit, man, that was great. And the best part is if they did 8 stories, boom, you've got 2 movies. You can do one year, and then boom, you've got Holidays 2 coming out. Again, like if they were like half hour and adequately written.
Okay, so let's dive in. What we're going to try to do, if this is at all possible, Mike, for each short, we're going to try to say one good thing, and fuck, this is going to be hard. One bad thing, because we could just stay here forever and do this if that was the case.
And maybe a what the fuck if it applies.
And we'll try to get a what the fuck.
And we'll give like a just so that the audience knows like what we're talking about. We'll give like the narrowest.
We'll give
the
like I didn't
synopses.
write anything up, but we'll try to give like a quick like plot rundown of each one.
Yeah, like 1 minute to like just establish what happens, who's in it, what happens, what's the twist, and then it's fucking done.
Yes. Okay, so they started off, which I thought was a little strange, but I guess not really. I guess it's I understand they kind of wanted to keep like the Christmas and New Year's ones for last, but anyway, starts off with Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day is about a bullied high school girl that is in love with her swim coach and being picked on by the rest of her swim team. Should we tell the whole thing like about?
Yeah, let's just spoil it because it'll save people any misconception of thinking, wow, that's a good concept. It can't be that bad. No. We need to tell them why it's that bad.
Yeah, and this kind of goes to my point, what I said earlier about usually with most of these shorts, within the first few scenes, you can already almost tell like where the story is going to go. So they were very predictable. So this high school girl is being bullied by the other members on her swim team. She's in love with the swim coach, who we see through a letter on his desk that he actually has we don't see any details, but he basically has a bad heart and he's waiting for a transplant, which he
and they're doing they're doing a fundraiser. They keep mentioning about like the Valentine's Day dance is a fundraiser for him to get the operation or secure a donor.
Yes, and
he has a Valentine's card written on his desk. He's having an argument with, assuming his girlfriend or a wife. So he just modifies her name because he sees that Max has been picked on. He gives her the card and she is just fucking over the moon. And this just sends her over the edge. Like, she had a crush on him before, but now that it's requited in her eyes, she decides she's going to take drastic actions.
He's just trying to be nice because he saw that she's being picked on, she's being bullied, and this is just a way of trying to be nice to her, which is very creepy in itself because he goes into his girl's locker room and puts a Valentine's in the locker, a Valentine's card in the locker of this teenage girl.
Yeah, and it just says like Happy Valentine's Day, like to Maxine, love coach. You think if he was going to be like, oh, she's being bullied, he would write something down like, don't let bullies get you down. High school won't last forever. You're great. Just don't let them convince you otherwise. They're insecure. Just any one of those things. But no, it's just to Maxine, love coach. So like, it is not unbelievable that she could be like, oh, he does love me.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no ambiguity here.
It was very creepy, and there's quite a few of these shorts that had a very creepy. I don't mean creepy as in scary, just a creepy as in like this feels very wrong type of thing.
Yeah, they're maladjusted. Nobody's perceiving reality in an appropriate fashion.
So she gets under the impression that the coach is in love with her. She decides that she's going to take action into her own hands. She follows one of her bullies. I want to say like
The chief. The chief
the
bully.
chief bully home. Kills her in the woods.
And then we get to see the teacher, the swim coach, arguing with his girlfriend or wife. Again, we don't know who she is. Like she's pissing him off, and we hear a knock on the door, and there we see Max, all like blood splattered all over her face. She like came right from the forest, never washed up, and she's holding the cheerleader's heart in her hand.
Yes.
And he's just staring down at this, like trying to make sense. Like what the what?
And that's how it ends.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, she decided to go take matters into her own hands and got a heart transplant for him. And obviously, she's an idiot because even if this girl was a perfect match, I'm sure it's no good right now because it's like full of dirt, not properly taken care of.
Yeah, she's been handling it with her bare hands, which again, prone to infection. No cooler, so it's probably been like carried around her pocket.
Well, at least, I mean, it was just after school when she killed her bully, and now it's nighttime, so it's been it's probably been at least a couple of hours.
Yeah, it's just been exposed to air,
so
warm air for about a good 3 hours.
So she ain't smart, I guess is what we're trying to say. So anyway, for the good, all I could put down for this one is I like a story where a bully gets their comeuppance.
Yeah, it had a good sense of pathos.
Yeah.
And for me, my good was good acting. Like, the actors, like, the bully seemed like, hateful, miserable. The victim did seem like a little, put down upon, persecuted.
Do we want to say good actors?
I didn't say great.
No, I certainly wouldn't say great either. Okay,
so... we can hop down to the bad, then.
Okay, for my bad, the dream sequences in this thing. Well, other than like the obviously like, okay, I'm gonna say like she's mentally unstable, so that might explain the whole heart thing because I could say it's bad, but I was like, okay, she's probably just an idiot, so she doesn't know that's not going to work as a transplant. So I took that off of my bad. But those dream sequences she has about her coach. Like all of a sudden this one's being it's kind of like they're trying to be very serious, like this girl is being bullied and they establish that she may be even suicidal, but then they cut in these dream sequences which just throws the serious tone of this one right out the window. She's dreaming, her dreams are where she's fantasizing about her swim coach.
Yeah, my bad was that I thought it was too short. I really thought like once he saw the heart in her hand, like we were going to see like he was either going to like scream and freak out, and then she's going to be like, you can't reject me. This isn't what my dreams were like. Like, this isn't you. You really do like me. You're just saying this. Like, I thought that we would get to see her like stalk him and do some deplorable obsessed shit, or that the teacher, like having such a bad fight with his girlfriend, would be like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, it turns out that they're both unstable creeps.
Okay, well, we thought the opposite about that because my thing would have been they could have shortened it down by cutting out those dream sequences. So,
well, they could have cut out that dream crap and then put in a bit more story. So,
yeah. So
my idea can turn into your idea in a way.
So what I got for my what the fuck? So these mean girls bullied this other girl to the point where they almost killed her. One of them pushed her off the diving board when she obviously was not ready to dive, which I don't even understand the concept. Was this supposed to be a swim team, or was it like mandatory gym class, which I think mandatory gym class where they make you swim and dive off a really high diving board, if it's a real thing, should be fucking outlawed. But anyway, these bullies, they almost kill her. She almost drowns in the pool because of what they did. And in front of the swim coach, and he does nothing.
No punishment, no sending the girl to the principal's office for harassment, if not attempted murder.
This swim coach was a piece of shit.
Yeah, and again, like with that Valentine note, instead of he could have had like any phrase that would have like killed the ambiguity.
Yeah.
And just be like, you know what, you're a great kid. Like, just let him know, like, I see you as a child, but you're a good kid, and keep trying, keep believing, you'll meet someone. Like, you just got to get past
But
this. It's
just
worth
say,
it.
like, hey, like, I know what you're going through, but things will get better.
Yeah, it gets better.
That's it. That's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah,
But
this teacher wasn't. He kind of asked for it. I'm
Yeah.
not sure he like literally asked for a teenage girl's heart being handed to him, but c'est la vie. And I didn't have a what the fuck, so we can move on to St. Patty's Day.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Oh boy.
Wow. So where do you...
This makes me regret being Irish.
Yep. So we start off with an elementary school classroom. A teacher is showing her students a film about St. Patrick's Day, about what happened to St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick driving snakes out of Ireland, but then the film...
Literally whipping them around over his head like a fucking lasso and tossing them into the drink.
And the film even goes to say about how it's very unlikely that this is a true story because there's no evidence of snakes ever being in Ireland, but people think it's a metaphor for that he drove, being one of these uptight Christian type fellows, driving all the pagans out of...
Or the Protestants or something.
I think they actually said pagans.
Yeah, it's the pagans.
Out of
pagans,
Ireland.
the Druids.
Yeah.
Fuck you and your Stonehenge and your bloody robes.
So we see that it's established, and we see a little girl that doesn't look like she's very excited about being here. And the teacher's trying to liven her up and everything, wants her to smile, but she refuses. They make some crafts, and one of the crafts that this little girl, the creepy little girl, makes is a little paper snake.
It's a coiled paper snake with like some weird plastic emerald eyes.
It says something about make a wish to make me smile or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it says.
Your deepest wish will make me smile. And we see her in the schoolyard, and she's ringing her bell, looking at looking at this kid being pulled out of a stroller, and as she's ringing the bell, we can establish from this scene that without any words that, she wants a kid.
She's having some motherly instincts, that's for sure.
She wants to be a mom.
She wants to be a mom. And then we hear some phone messages she's listening to. She's going out with one of her friends to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. And our friend even says to her, we're going to go out and have some drinks and see if we can find you a man.
Yeah, and she mentions, we'll get you some guy that looks like Danny Zuko from Greece. And we think that's just a one-off, but it will come into play later.
Well, actually, this was afterwards when she wakes up in her car. She wakes up in a car, looks like she had way too much to drink. She might have passed out. She wakes up looking a little worse for wear and finds a huge snake skin in the car with her.
Yep.
She's checking her messages, and her friend is saying, "Hey, you disappeared with that Danny Zuko-looking guy."
Oh, right. I confused the messages.
And so that she's going back to class again, and the creepy little girl, can't stop smiling all the time.
And fuck, she's got this shattered glass smile. It is just...
Yep.
She's got she needs some friggin' braces. Plus,
But okay, shortly afterwards, we see that, something's not quite right, and the teacher discovers that, yes, she is pregnant.
Yeah, well, the kid knows first because she meets her in the store. She runs up to her with that creepy smile, gives her a nice hug around the belly, and she's just like, "Well, this isn't appropriate. You got to go." And then I think that's when she gets a test, and we realize that she's in fact pregnant.
Yes, she's pregnant. She's starting to show. She's at the doctor, and right off the bat, there's no surprise to this. The doctor tells her right off the bat that there's something wrong with the baby because it's not human, it's a reptile. That she is going to give birth to a snake.
Yeah, we're not sure what the baby is. Oh, as long as it's a boy or a girl, I'm happy. No. It's not that. I mean, we it's not a boy or a girl. It's an it.
Yeah.
You remember that movie Rosemary's Baby? Well, this is like Rosemary's Reptile. You're having a reptile.
But the teacher doesn't even seem to care. It's like she's ignoring that part, which is... Anyway, we can pretty much summed us up that, we see her later on. She's fully pregnant.
Oh,
and
she is mega pregnant. Like,
she gets in a tub.
We see the days going by, and it says like day 366, day 400. So this woman has been pregnant for a year.
More than a year.
A year and a half. Like a year and some change.
Yeah. And so she finally gets into a tub.
And she looks it like she has got a belly on her like a friggin' laundry hamper. Yeah. It is massive.
Yeah, and so we see her, she gets into a tub and actually gives birth, a very painful birth, and she passes out, wakes up in the bloody tub, and who's there looking at her but the creepy little girl. Gets her to follow her, brings her to, like, they walk to some kind of field, and there's these people dressed in the weirdest, creepiest costumes.
Age of Aquarius meets the Wicker Man.
Yes, it had very strong Wicker Man tones to it for sure.
And they're all carrying the snake, and then we get to see the baby daddy, who is an Irish Danny fucking Zuko, as she calls him, literally that.
Yep.
And he's got like a snake on his leather jacket. And the mother is, and like he tells the girl like, oh, she's gonna freak out. She's gonna realize how fucking hideous he is. And then we get to see her look at the snake and go, oh, you're so fucking beautiful.
She is fine, and this is a huge snake. Like there's like a dozen people holding this thing up.
And the snake, the snake, holding, oh fuck, the snake.
The snake is the fakest looking thing I've ever seen. It looks like a prop that I would make for Halloween.
And
except
the
it
funniest
has fucking
thing,
rockabilly hair.
It has a pompadour, just like his daddy.
Jesus Christ.
It's a snake with a pompadour, and he has like human teeth. He doesn't have fangs. He has human teeth, and he's smiling.
Oh my god! And this short ends with them like doing some kind of like dance around a fucking tree,
and she's also like on the ground like playing with it. Just like a baby. And the Irish guy, he's telling Grania, oh. He's surprised that she's, like, not rejecting it. Like, she's just, like, totally into it. And he goes, oh, she'll do nicely. Keep up the good work, kid. Pretty soon we'll be back up to pre-patty numbers. So he represents the snakes, and the snakes are returning to Ireland.
Yeah. And this short ends off with another elementary school teacher. This time it's a nun. And finding the exact same paper craft snake on her desk with the same saying written on it.
And that kid in the doorway looking at her with a smile.
Yep.
So let's get into the good. I liked the kid. I mean, she did a fantastic job freaking me the fuck out with that creepy broken glass smile and that dead stare of hers.
For the good, I've got creepy girl was creepy.
Yep, nailed it. And I guess for the bad for St. Patty's Day is this was a great concept, but they just took a shit on it with misdirections, missed opportunities. It was just so much what the fuckery that never got addressed, never got explained. Like the idea of like the snakes returning to Ireland, like undoing Patty's work to find out that like there in fact were snakes and they were related with the pagans. Like there was a great concept in this, but they just fucking ignored it.
It was like I like that, like, it was about this St. Patrick's Day. Somebody saying like, oh, it was just a metaphor. It wasn't actually snakes he drove out. It was a metaphor for pagans. But coming up with the idea that no, it was actually a combination of both.
Yeah, it was pagans worshipped by the snakes.
Great concept, but. Holy shit. Like, okay, so for the bad, I could have named so much stuff for the bad, but just everyone in this thing was super weird. The lead character was the worst, the teacher. She was completely fine with having a snake baby. Like, there was no horror to it. Just no dread.
Continuing the theme of, like, something so intense and odd and someone being totally okay with it.
Because there was no suspense at the end with like him saying like, oh, she's going to see it and freak out. She already knew she was having a snake baby and she was fine with it. So why would she freak out now?
Well, there's the idea and then there's the reality.
True, but still, it was just stupid. And For what do you have for your what the fuck? Because
lady knocked up with a snake and not making the news.
yeah,
Also, a 400-day pregnancy, Danny Zuko, and snake with a pompadour.
yeah. Well, that's what I had for my what the fuck. If I got to pick one, which I could have picked like a dozen things for this, I said rockabilly snake baby.
Oh my god! Like again, why? How could this thing not make the news? Like you think that the doctor would be like, okay, there's doctor-patient confidentiality here, but we are looking at the devil's version of a miracle here. I definitely need to report this to some higher up medical authorities. Like we are dealing with, from a secular point of view, an absolute medical anomaly since a mammal giving birth to a reptile is just nonsensical. Like, is there an egg in her or what's going on? And then if she was a religious Irish nurse, then she'd be like, oh, fuck, this is the end of days. Mm-hmm. We need to, get a priest and an exorcist. I need to contact Father O'Malley.
Yeah. Oh, it would be
the nurse did nothing.
No, she would be locked up somewhere because that's just crazy.
Yeah, the Vatican would have her in one of their secret dungeons.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, so we're moving on from St. Patrick's Day.
Speaking of the Vatican.
Yeah, because next on the list was Easter and fuck.
Oh boy, this starts off with.
We can sum this one up really fast.
Oh boy.
It's Easter. Little girl is going to bed. Mother is putting her to bed, telling her about the Easter Bunny. She has to go to bed before the Easter Bunny gets here. And right off the bat, she says she's not, you go through the whole thing about you can't see the Easter Bunny. You have to make sure she goes to bed. And right off the bat, the little girl even says, well, what about I have to get up and get a drink of water? And that's immediately what happens. She has to go to bed. She has to get up and get a drink of water. And, of course, sees the Easter Bunny.
Oh, yeah, but this ain't your daddy's Easter Bunny. Because, oh, fuck. We see something in first she asks, well, what does Jesus have to do with it? Well, Jesus died and came back. What does the bunny have to do with it? And, she just bombards the mom with questions.
So many questions that I've asked myself about Easter. It's like, what does hanging a dude on the cross, like the whole dying for your sins thing, have to do with like a bunny that brings you chocolate?
So the mom just okay, well, eventually she pulls the exhausted parent routine. Is just just go to bed. Yeah. I don't have time to think. I'm just fucking exhausted. So you have depleted me.
Just shut up and go to sleep.
I'm done.
Basically.
She pulls a Samuel L. Jackson. Go the fuck to sleep. So she goes to bed. Kid gets the water. We get to see what looks like the Easter Bunny because we just get to see a shadow hopping around. Oh yeah, first an egg rolls in. So we just think, oh, look, we're going to see a bunny hatch from the egg, like Cadbury style. But no, when the kid comes, we get to see some guy hunched over in a diaper, like some weird, old Middle Eastern loincloth thing. And he's hunched over, and then we get to see him open up his hand, which has a hole in the palm, and I'm like, oh, fuck. It's Jesus. Jesus is a horror movie monster. Because he's, covered in, dirt and sweat, and he's come. And we get to see, a baby chick come out of his stigmata.
Comes out of his knee holes!
He comes out of his palm hole.
What the hell?
And then the girl, obviously is, taken aback by this. She tries to go back to her room, but he corners her, and then we get to see, as the camera slowly pans up, Jesus Christ.
Bunny!
Has a bunny face. And the crown of thorns is wrapped on his head, and it's holding down long, floppy ears.
That... Oh, fuck.
I've never... the idea that Jesus would be a horror movie monster, and the fact that somebody did it, and the first thing they didn't go for was zombie.
Yeah. But so they basically combine Jesus and the Easter Bunny together. So what you get is a hairless creature.
Now we know the H in his middle name stands for hopping.
Oh. So you basically got a hairless creature that has like the head of a bunny and the body of a man. And wow, and how this little girl just didn't run off screaming, I don't know. But anyway, he basically plain out tells her, hey, no child is allowed to see the Easter Bunny. Now that you've seen me, you have to take my place.
And then we get to see her shadow because I guess they ran out of money for special effects.
Sticks an egg in her mouth. Which, again, this, again, is like that first one, like, got that really creepy, way too creepy feeling like something is going on involving a child. Because it's the whole thing with, like, you know, he's got this little kid pushed against the wall, backed up against the wall, and says, open your mouth, close your eyes and open your mouth. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
This explains a lot of the Vatican's treatment of priests over the last 50 years.
And he sticks an egg in her mouth, and we don't see it happen. We see a shadow, but we see her. She's kind of like writhing, kind of in agony, and starts growing bunny ears.
Yeah, and then the mother wakes up, and the kid is gone. You think that the mother would see the kid, and then, like, now we have to wonder, like, again.
But if she did, wouldn't the mother just become an Easter bunny then?
Yeah, and then the kid's fine.
Well, we don't know. We don't know what happened to the Jesus bunny.
Yeah, he says, take my place. Does that mean that, like, he gets his curse undone, and now he goes back to being, like, some Israeli carpenter?
Or did he just evaporate, or what?
Yeah, does he, like, finally get the sweet release of death?
Did he, like, pull off the loincloth and say, well, this is yours now? But anyway,
this is yours now, and you don't have time to wash it.
I don't even know what to say about this. The only good thing I could say about this is that when I saw the Jesus bunny, I cracked up laughing. I think they were trying for horror. I don't think it was meant to be funny. I think it was supposed to be horrifying, but I just laughed. I'm like, of all the directions you could have went, this is where. And then when, like, the little chick starts coming out of his fucking hand hole.
He extrudes living poultry.
Oh, God. This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Like, what do you, like, does baby Jesus, like, does he just leave chicks? I thought he was supposed to leave chocolate. Where do they...
This is what you would see. This is what you would see if your fucking Cadbury cream egg was laced with LSD.
My only good was that the barrage of questions from the kids was really cute and friggin' great.
Well, okay.
And Bunny Jesus did scare me. I mean, the fact that you made Jesus a horror movie monster, I got to give them props at least for being the first one to do it.
Well, fuck.
There's a first time for everything.
Have you ever read the Bible? The whole thing's a fucking horror show. But no, seriously, like I that was a good part too, because like I said, that kid raised some of the exact questions that I had about Easter when I was a kid. It's like, and nobody seemed to be able to explain it. And of course, I'm not going to get into it now, but you know, as an adult, I kind of got where these things came from, what the connection is, and it's
Now you know why they didn't tell you, because if they were honest with you, then they'd have to be like,
pokes a few holes in the whole in the whole thing.
You know what? Maybe you can skip church.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and the what the fuck, like, all my good, bad, like, my good and my what the fuck are the same thing. What else can you say? It's Jesus Easter Bunny.
My bad is that it cuts out again right after the twist and does nothing with it. Like, you have established a great twist, and it's like, this is where all the opportunity begins, and where the fucking short ends.
There's nothing wrong either with, like, I mean, it's a common thing for a lot of horror movies where nothing is fully explained, like it's kind of leaves you hanging a lot, which can be done good in some ways, but this, like, just tells you nothing. We know that, hey, she saw the Easter Bunny, and we assume now she's the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, it's like the Easter clause.
Yeah, so it's, this one was possibly the best and also the worst segment at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Which brings us to Happy Mother's Day, which a girl is at a clinic. She's tired of getting abortions. Like, she's had like 20 of them already. Even when the guy has like 3 condoms on.
Apparently she gets pregnant every time she has sex, no matter what precautions she takes.
And so the doctor says, well, I have a friend who knows some fertility rituals. Maybe she knows like an anti-fertility ritual. Something that will help you out. She drives over there. We find out all these women are wanting to be knocked up. And one of the women asks, like, why are you here? Oh, I'm tired of getting pregnant. And she's just like, wow, what it sucks to be you. Like, just, it really does, like, rub it in the face of all the other women that, like, are just so desperate to have a baby.
Yeah.
When they have this this old shaman lady they're all sitting in this big tub cauldron thing. This old lady gets in and she, walks around each one, like, talking about, like, what their problem is, what they have to do. She whispers something in their ear. Then she gets to our protagonist and tells her that she's a gateway. And that she has to let it happen.
Well, okay, and this made no sense right off the bat, because why would you, if your problem is that you can't stop getting pregnant, you're obviously, like, as fertile as fuck, why would you think going to some kind of I don't even know what to call it, fertility ritual, where all these women are going because they can't get pregnant? Why would you think that they could do anything for you?
Well, because, like, the doctor, who is fucking terrible, says, like,
first of all,
there's nothing
no real doctor would ever suggest this as an alternate form of treatment.
Hey, you know what the first thing an actual doctor would recommend if you're tired of getting pregnant? How about a hysterectomy? Or getting your tubes tied?
Yeah.
Boom! Done! There is no more machinery. No baby gets made. Like, all you have to do is just get your tubes tied, or get a hysterectomy. Just, get an operation that makes babies impossible. And boom, your problem is solved.
A real doctor, because first of all, you know something's up, because no doctor is going to go tell you do some, like, hippie mumbo-jumbo ritual in the desert.
Yeah, you need to go take these herbs, dance around a fireplace, take some ayahuasca, and then call me in the morning.
Okay, so sorry, I just had to bring that up. So go ahead.
Oh, you're right. Oh, you're absolutely right. So then the old lady tells her she's a gateway, and then she passes out because I guess, like, there's just some stuff going on, and then it turns out that they drugged her.
Yeah.
And then we get to see this big Game of Thrones motherfucker walk in. He sits down in front of her, and then, like, it obviously implies that there's been, a bunch of women raped a woman by drugging her and allowing a man, or bringing in a man, I don't know if they paid him or not, to do his business. And then we find out that she's pregnant, and she seems to be going along with it. Like, all right, might as well steer into this skid, get it over with. But then it turns out she's been drugged this whole time. Yeah. And we finally get to see her in a moment of clarity, call the police, try to escape. She makes a break for it, and then she falls on her stomach after she gets chased. And then she goes into labor, and everyone's just like, it's happening, it's finally happening, we're so happy. And then we get to see a regular grown adult-sized bloody arm emerge from between her legs and, like, brace itself onto her leg like it's ready to pull itself out. And then everybody starts screaming. And I'm like, you obviously wanted this thing to happen. You had some idea of what it was. But now you're scared that there's a fucking demon involved.
Well, I'm glad they had some idea of what it was, because we certainly didn't.
Yeah, we don't get to see.
What the fuck? I mean, that's where it ends.
At least
you forgot. You left in the part that's where it ends.
Yeah, then it just fucking stops. Remember that movie we saw with the VHS? When that demon baby was born, it did something. We got to see it do something awesome.
And we got, like, a little idea about what was happening there. That she was going to give birth to the Destructor or whatever. Yeah. But this is just, we have no idea what happened there. We know what happened in the sense that we saw, like, the ritual, her being drugged, them bringing some guy. We have no idea who this guy is. I put him down as Croatian Jason Momoa.
That's exactly why I said a Game of Thrones motherfucker.
And that's... Like, we see, like, basically, yeah, they drugged her and he rapes her. And then she gives birth to him? Was that his arm that came flying at her? We don't know.
I don't think, like, he went inside her.
Oh, yes, he did. We saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, like it is just like a person. It's not even like a claw or like some slimy tentacle. It's like a person.
Bloody human, like a bloody man's arm. That's all
like a bloody dude.
And then it just ends. That we get nothing else. That's it.
And everybody's terrified. Like, you're terrified that it's a person? Congratulations, a pregnant woman gave birth to a human.
Yeah.
And you're fucking terrified.
A full-grown human. But...
Yeah. Well, they were expecting this. Like,
yeah.
Like, that's why they drugged her, abducted her, raped her.
I've got no good for this one. I got a feeling I know what you're going to say, but I got no good.
My good note is, Happy Motorboats Day, because 43 minutes in, we got titties. Lots of titties.
Yep.
And then 3 minutes later, I wanted to scratch that entry out because then we get some titties that aren't that great. But, and then for the bad, rapey much? Also, it stopped at the good part. Again, we get to the twist and then fuck it, done.
Yep, we get like, she's giving birth to some kind of, we don't know what the hell it is, some kind of monster or something, but then it just ends. What the hell?
She's given birth to an unknown creature, which we are about to done. Fuck you.
I've got no good for this one. I don't even have any bad.
My what the fuck is, why are the rape covens scared of what's being born when they made it happen and they're supposed to, and they talk like they know exactly what the gateway was to. Yeah, that's it.
So
next is Happy Father's Day, which I was expecting something good because this actually approached this concept differently. A girl receives an audio tape in the mail. Apparently, it's been like it's been held onto for some time. It's a cassette player which didn't come with batteries, so she has to get those. And when she plays it, it's her father's voice. And like again, this is just starting, so we have no idea what her relationship is with her father. But it's established right away that he left one day and he was just gone. And she starts crying because like, when she's done listening to the first message, which is basically, I'm alive, I had to leave you, I couldn't tell you why, but, I'm ready to, now I can finally tell you how to find me, and we can be reunited, I love you so much, I wish I could have taken you with me, and then she ends up calling her mother crying, like, just unloading on her, like, you said he was dead, so it's established that she had a great relationship with her father, she loved him, she missed him, and she's been carrying that grief with her, and so she flips on the other side of the tape, and she basically gets instructions from the first, go to the first place where we played on that last day. So she goes to like this beach pier, and she ends up walking down, following his directions, going into what appears to be, I don't know, like a Scientology office or something. It kind of looked like the Alamo. And so she walks in, we get to see this dilapidated hallway, and we hear, like, as she's walking in, we're hearing, like, it's full of people at this time in the past while he's recording this. We even get to hear her as a little kid. Like, where are we going, Daddy? Oh, and we're just leaving some directions for a friend, and...
So, he's recording...
This is cute.
She's listening to the tape that was being recorded while she was with her father as a little kid, and he's leaving instructions to her future self to follow.
And this part is cute. I like this.
This is
like it's an excellent concept.
I thought this one had promise.
Yep, I really thought that, this is like the one peanut butter cup in the box of coconut chocolates. But then we get to see like a message on the phone from the mother, and I was expecting her to listen to this, and it would say like, sweetie, your father is dead. Whoever sent you this, like, stay away from them. Don't listen. Like, I expected we would hear what this message is. But no, we get the message from the mom, but we don't hear what it is, which would have built some suspense or something. So this woman's listening to the instructions as she opens up this door inside the... What the hell would this be? Like a registration office or a clerk? Or it's kind of like some abandoned city hall thing.
Yeah, I don't even know what the hell it was. It looked weird.
And weirdly, like, she like goes into it, and then when she opens the door, she's outside again. Like, we see like a starry night, and so apparently this leads to a courtyard. Leads to a courtyard inside the area.
It was almost felt like it was a kind of a dimensional type of thing. Like, this thing was kind of like she went through this building was kind of like a gateway to another dimension almost.
Yeah, the way I saw it is that like there was just like an outer perimeter that she entered and then went into the inner courtyard. That's like I didn't want to ascribe too much thought to this because we get to see. Yeah, we get to see the father's instructions talking about how I wish I could have taken you, but like now nothing will stop us from being together. And I'm just thinking like, okay, we're building up suspense. We see this chair, but it's not facing outwards towards her. It's facing inwards towards this building. And we get to see this shape, which doesn't look entirely human. It looks like some old rotted corpse. And I thought that that would be the big twist, that the father left all these instructions and that he really thought he was going to live, but that he was just like killed and left there, and that would be like a lame twist, but still, you know, the story that the father didn't anticipate one thing, that he would never live to finish the tape. But no, as he's talking about we can finally be together, she sees this figure and says like daddy, and then it turns around and it's like some weird green demon thing. It screams and then it cuts out. It's fucking done.
Yep.
Like, fuck you,
the tape
you
recorder
cocksucker.
The tape recorder and the headphones fall to the floor. And she's just gone, apparently. And you just hear, the last thing you hear on the tape recorder is together.
Is this the father? Is this some demon that, like, killed him and then now it's killing... Like, what the fuck?
Again, we have no idea what happened.
As soon as it gets interesting, that's when they're just like, fuck you.
It's, and like I said, which is very disappointing because I thought I was actually invested in this one. I was feeling a little tense. I wanted to see what was going to happen. I don't know why. I was actually expecting this one to be an alien story.
Yeah, like either the father was abducted by aliens or was an alien.
Yeah,
and he had to go back to his home
planet. Turns out she was an alien as well. I don't know why I thought that. I thought for some reason this is where it was going.
Yeah, like when he hugs her, he like pulls on her hair and she's like screaming, "What's going on?" And then like as he pulls and pulls, then like her skin peels back like a banana, revealing what she really is underneath. Like that would have been fucking great. Like, surprise, honey, you're an alien too. You've been wearing a human suit this whole time.
Yeah.
Something. You could have just phoned that in at the last 5 minutes and I could have saved this.
Yeah. It's a big build up for a big disappointment.
Yeah. So the good I have to say about this is, again, it's an excellent concept with the father leaving like an audio breadcrumb for her to follow and saying that like she wants to meet her dad. It's a sweet family moment, which leads me, I'll just teleport to the bad. No fucking answers.
Yep, exactly. You nailed it. Like, a good concept, very poorly executed, left you wondering at the end. Didn't really have a what the fuck for this one.
Oh, mine is what the Father's Day.
All right, whatever that's supposed to mean.
Well, because again, like what the Father's Day happened. So, Halloween. And, oh, fuck this right off the bat.
Okay, this one was the one directed by Kevin Smith, which, if anybody that probably knows any of the directors in this, it'll probably be him. Do you know that his daughter was in this one?
Was she one of the blonde girls?
She was.
That's not creepy.
His daughter, Harley Quinn, she was the one that
she was like the crying blonde?
Nope, she was the one when they were watching the cartoon about witches. She was the one that says, "Oh, it's not a group. When you get witches together, it's called a coven." So yeah,
weird. They were all hot though, so he made. I don't like the mom must have been the babe because she didn't look like her dad.
Are you trying to say Kevin Smith's not attractive?
Well, if you like hairy, ugly dudes, then sure. So
only you, Mike. Only you.
Okay, so you can tell the concept on this one.
Okay, so what we've got here, this is again. So we starts off with a guy, a very sleazy looking guy, talking to a girl, saying that it's very obvious right from the start what's going on. He's talking to her and saying, "Oh, you need to come out here. We can get you set up like in a nice apartment, get you working right away." And
it's
you
not
hear him
porn.
say, "Oh, it's not porn. No. It's you're just going to be, you're going to show some skin on webcam. It's probably nothing you haven't done with a boyfriend before, except you're going to get paid for it."
Yeah. And I know a girl that pulls down like $8,000 a month.
Yeah.
So we see the area where he lives.
Yeah, he walks to his apartment and he's see a girl dressed as, I don't know, was she dressed as Dorothy from Wizard of Oz?
I thought Little Bo Peep.
Yeah, but anyway, she's upset because she was webcamming with someone and he called her a whore. And she's upset. She's telling her roommates, and apparently, so we've pretty much got it established right now that these girls work for this guy, and he has a web show service, an adult show service, where these girls, you go into a chat room and you pay to see these girls do things on webcams. Very sleazy.
I love the fact that you think that you have to explain a webcam to like the innocent listeners of ours who have no idea.
Oh yeah,
what this business is.
Yeah.
It's like we hate to disillusion you. I mean, like, we know that you love horror movies, tits, violence, gore, blood, profanity, but some people they parade themselves for the sexual pleasure of others.
We got one of our listeners right now. Is like, wait a minute, I can see naked girls online.
Wait, they'll talk. Wait, naked women will talk to me?
Yeah.
And take my cues?
People will take their clothes off for money? That's amazing. But so anyway, yeah, we established this guy is.
We just lost them because now they're typing like a rabid fiend.
Enough of this podcast crap. I didn't know there was porn on the internet. I thought it was only good for podcasts.
Yeah. So,
but I do have a new. You know what? I know we're all joking, but I do have a new Patreon idea.
Oh my gosh.
If you'd like to see more of Mike, it's www.patreon.com/graveyard.
Oh my gosh. If it brought in the money, like, DM me on Facebook. We'll talk.
Now there's a niche market right there. So we've established that this guy, he's I guess what would you call him? A cyber pimp?
Yeah, pretty much.
He's pretty much giving these girls room and board, and they are the webcam girls. And they don't seem very happy about their situation. He doesn't treat them well. I don't think they get paid very well. He said they're not even worth buying name brand candy for Halloween. He buys them like something out of the bargain.
He buys them something out of the bargain. He won't even buy them like Hershey bars.
He buys them some look like rockets or something from like the clearance bin at a convenience store.
And he tells them like Hershey is for closers.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's like a pimp version of that guy from Glengarry Glen Ross.
And so they said it's Halloween, it's been a slow night. They didn't get many customers. He doesn't like that very much. So basically he's like, well, if you're not making me money, you're going to be useful in some other way. So basically he decides that he's going to rape one of them, basically. And he goes for Little Bo Peep. And then gets his ass knocked the fuck out. Good for you, Harley Quinn. Yep. That's Kevin Smith's daughter, by the way. That's her actual name, Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah, good move on Smitty, and we get to see some real pro-feminist, some real pro-feminist stuff.
This did make me laugh, and he's knocked out. He wakes up laying on a bed, butt naked, and we see he's wearing it. Well, I think it's just a tighty whities, isn't it?
Maybe
his tighty whities with a cable sticking out of them. And we soon figure out what's going on because he's sitting in front of a computer with a webcam and he's getting messages. Lets him know that he now has a dildo in his ass connected to a
car battery.
A car battery and a remote, and his butthole's been super glued shut.
And of course, when you're in like a situation like this, the first thing you would want to do is try to appease your captor, but no, he is just full on rape pimp. Like, you bitches got to learn your place, and
then he gets
and the bitch learns his place.
He gets a jolt. Yep. And they tell him he's like in pain. All of a sudden, we hear the buzzing. He's in pain. He's like flops to the bed, and he's like shaking with pain. And they tell him that was just a 1 out of a possible 10. So you're going to do, if you don't want a higher setting, you're going to do what we say. And he tells them to, talks back, gets zapped again, and they tell him that was a 2.
And then
Let's like make a long story short. They basically tell him that this is going to get worse. We're wondering what's going to happen at the highest setting.
They tell him to show his puss. And he's like, I don't have one.
I don't have one.
Then make one.
A knife slides underneath the door. Then make one. So basically, it's like, cut off your junk or we're going to kill you.
Yep. And then he does. Yep. And then they're just like, oh, wow, that's a lot of blood.
They're watching him. They're in the next room watching him.
They're the best part is that like when they tell him that like they super glued his asshole shut, then they send like a smile emoji, which just cracked me the fuck up. It's like you think that you'd be getting like angry threats, but then they throw like this whole okay, like.
Jesus!
Like you are talking to a millennial, so you're not just gonna get death threats and mutilation. You're also gonna get crying emojis, laughing emojis, crying, laughing emojis. It just accentuated. So, I love this part.
Yeah, so he does cut junk. You don't see it. You just see him like lower the knife down. You see the spray of blood, and you hear him screaming, and then it cuts to them watching on the monitor and mention how much blood there is, and we still hear him screaming. And then the little Bo Peep says, well, I wonder what would actually happen if we turned it up all the way. And she cranks it.
Oh, and you get to hear the most amazing sound of someone basically being vibrated to death.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ah! And then apparently there's an explosion. I guess the vibrator explodes.
I guess.
Inside of him. And you get to see them and go, wow, that's even more blood.
Yeah. So... And that's where it ends with knock on the door, the answer to the door, and it was the girl that he was talking to at the beginning. She comes there for her job and asks, what was his name?
Dave?
I don't know. Whatever it was. She asked where he is, and she says, oh, sorry, he's no longer with the company. It's under new management. Welcome aboard. What can I say?
Yeah.
Sisters are doing it for themselves.
Okay, so I guess I gotta say for Halloween, again, I love the emojis and the threat messages. That was like when he was getting his comeuppance, and then like them throwing that shit in there just to throw salt in the wound.
Again, I'll say the good thing about this one for me was going back to the first one. Good to see a bully, if you want to call him a bully, sleazebag, get his comeuppance.
Yeah, some good pathos.
You treated these girls very badly, and you paid for it in the end, literally. The bad, just bland.
Yep. My bad is what the fuck did this have to do with Halloween?
They wanted to go out for Halloween, and he said no because he had to work and gave him crappy candy. Literally, that's it. Nothing else connected with Halloween.
Yeah, you know what? You know what else would be a good reason to go out with a bunch of girls and like eat candy and cry? Any fucking day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So again, nothing like you think like, oh, Halloween, this is where we're gonna see like some monsters, the occult, the supernatural, like this is where this shit's really gonna shine. And then it's like, no, this has nothing to do with any fucking holiday at all. So, for a pro-feminist short, yeah, this is great. But it did not belong in a holiday horror thing. This would have been great in part of any other anthology horror short. It did not belong here.
Yep. It just it wasn't connected to Halloween at all, really. It could have been any day, and
that's also my what the fuck. Like when someone has you wired to a car battery and demands you mutilate yourself, call them derogatory names because that really engenders sympathy and mercy.
He didn't even attempt once to try to cut the friggin' cable sticking out of his ass. They gave him a knife.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he could have, because this was a pretty thick cable, and it probably would have taken a lot, but...
And they definitely would have amped it up.
I definitely would have tried, though. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, it's just... It's Kevin Smith humor.
But without Jay.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it was ho hum. Not very good. None of these were really good, but that was pretty bland. What do we have next?
Christmas.
Ooh, yeah. Seth Green's in this one.
Yeah, my expectations are already up because
Yep.
I don't remember seeing him in much shitty stuff. The guy picks his projects well.
He should have stuck to Robot Chicken.
Yep. So he plays a guy, Paul Gunderson, who is last minute Christmas shopping, trying to pick up this great new item called like the UVU.
Yes. Okay. First of all, right off the bat, it's 2016 Christmas Eve. Who the hell is still running around stores at the last minute in 2016 trying to
Why aren't you on your fucking phone or your computer? That shit should be done. I can only imagine that this script was written in like 2005.
Yeah. Well, first of all, okay, he's not even going to some big electronics store at a mall. He's like at some little
strip mall,
convenience store or something. But anyway, whatever. He's trying to get the latest. He's trying desperately to get the latest, the hottest item, the big ticket Christmas item this year, which is
VR goggles.
Well, it's VR goggles that creates an image from your own brain, apparently.
Yeah, they say it's supposed to. They poorly and terribly explain that it's supposed to collate all your social media presence so that it will show you things that, basically it's like if you paid to buy VR glasses that are run by Google Ads, then you would be seeing. It's supposed to show you stuff that would either represent you, or at least your digital footprint.
Yeah. So me and you are always posting either horror movie stuff or video game stuff. So would that be what it would show us if we put it on?
Either that or horny old ladies in my neighborhood who are down to bone.
Well, okay.
I don't know. Those are the ads I keep seeing. I don't know why.
Hey, man, I don't judge.
Hey, Ben Franklin said old ladies are the best because they can't get pregnant.
Yeah. Ben Franklin said a lot of stuff. I'll send you some stuff later if it was something Ben Franklin said. Anyway, so he goes to the store, but just out of luck, somebody beats him to it, gets the very last set of these crazy ass unreal virtual reality goggles. He's out of luck. But
yeah, and he gets a call from the wife saying you better not have fucked up.
Yeah, you already know that
our marriage is apparently hanging by a thread.
Yeah, so from one text we know that his wife might be a little bit of a bitch. So anyway, he's out of luck, or is he? Because as he's leaving, he finds the guy that just got the last set of the virtual reality goggles laying in a parking lot. Bottle of open pills around him, obviously having some kind of heart condition and needs his pills. But Seth Green, instead of helping
he initially
him,
goes to call.
He goes to help him, but then he sees the goggles sitting on the seat of the guy's car and decides to just split with the goggles instead.
I'm so sorry, man. You should have just sold it to me first.
Mm-hmm.
So he brings it home, and then the wife's just you better not have overspent on these. She wants them, but you better have fucking got them cheap, asshole.
Yeah.
And it's at this point, the best Christmas present this guy could have gotten was a divorce.
Yeah. So, but he got these goggles for his kid, and Christmas morning he tries them on, and right away. So the kid, first thing he sees, I think, is the scenario it created for the kid was he's the first person to walk on Mars. I think. Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, it's probably something that if I had those when I was a kid, it probably would have created something very similar. His son gets him to try them on, gets his dad to try them on, and first thing, he's in a bondage dungeon.
And there's this lady just crawling up to him on her knees, just so what's gonna happen first?
Yeah, and he rips him off right away. Because, so he takes him off right away, but then it cuts to that very night, and he's sneaking the goggles out of his son's room.
Now that the kid's not around to look at him anymore, now he can be alone with his shame.
Well, after he gets shot down by his wife, I should say.
Yeah, he tried to, hustle up to the wife, which, this was, a little creepy. You think that he tried to, seduce her at first, but no, he just, turns over and he tries to, play the back nine, and she ain't interested.
Yeah. It's like, basically, it's like, oh, if I smush it against her, maybe she'll get turned on.
So then he decides, I'm gonna have a crank sesh with my son's toy.
Little marriage tip, guys. It doesn't work.
Yeah, just because you're married doesn't mean you still don't have to work on your seduction game.
Yes. Basically, I saw a little something, there's one of those stupid little Facebook things, little pictures of like a husband and wife spooning. And he's thinking, maybe if I press it against her, she'll get turned on. And she's thinking, maybe if I fart on him, he'll leave. And I was like, hey, that sums up my marriage right there.
Yeah, so he throws on the goggles, expecting to have more spanky time.
And it starts off that way. He's back in the bondage dungeon with the same lady. But just as things are about to get good for him, the image fades out, crackles out. And he sees another image. He's seeing himself, but he's seeing himself from the dying guy on the parking lot. From his
He's
point
seeing
of view.
everything through the eyes of the poor heart victim guy.
Yeah, which freaks him the hell out, which it would.
And then we get to continue his perspective all the way to the morgue.
Yep, we see everything that, not even what that guy sees, because he's actually seeing the point of view from, like, a dead body. So I'm thinking, like, holy crap, is he going to see, like, this guy's ghost? Like, is this where the story's going? Like, this guy's ghost is going to be coming after him.
Oh yeah, we get to see the view of the ghost, like, going through the neighborhood, knocking on his door, and then we get to hear boom, boom, boom.
Which would have been a much better story. But
fuck, that's scaring me already.
But nope, that's not it. He just ditches the goggles and goes to work. He's calling customer service, asking them, if anyone reported any types of problems, things like that.
I don't know, like seeing the last moments of your victims.
Yes. But what we discover when he gets home...
the best part, the tech support guy, where he's just like, well, sir, if you give me your account number, I can pull up the video feed.
Like, no, that's okay, thank you.
No.
No, thank you, I'll figure it out. But yeah, so somehow these goggles has created what the feed that they've created, probably from his own guilt or something. We're not sure how, but they created a feed that shows him stealing the goggles from the dying guy, basically. He comes home from work and his son is nowhere around. Wife says he sent the son to his friend's house, and she said, "You left the goggles on." And right away, and she says, "I just want to know, why did you do it?" And we know right away that she put on the goggles, saw his feed, because I guess it wasn't turned off, so we kept showing that feed. She knows that he took the goggles from a dead guy.
Well, we don't know if she's seeing the original sex dungeon or the his special soul cam. All we know is that she's saying she saw everything, and it's up to us to assume.
I thought that too at first. Maybe she's talking about the the sex cam thing, but when she said, "Why did you do it?" Because I mean that
I don't know. I was still thinking sex dungeon because his answer was ambiguous.
Yeah,
when
true.
He said he had what I wanted, and I'm tired of
being a nice guy.
Yeah, so that's why I thought like the sex dungeon still fits in with that answer.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I thought like the whole "why did you do it" tipped it off, but whatever. Anyway, he said he said, "I'm tired of being a nice guy. He had something I wanted, and I'm tired of being the nice guy." She starts walking towards him, and instead of getting pissed, she says, "That is the hottest thing you've ever said."
And she jumps the fuck out of him.
And they bang right there on the floor.
And like things are going good for him.
Yes, it is. He wakes up, after like what was obviously a very vigorous night, looking very beat but also very pleased. But he notices that the goggles are still on and that his wife was the last person to use them.
Yeah, they're on her side of the bed, which means she's been viewing them.
And he looks around, he's checking around like somebody that's about to go and check someone's text messages on their phone without being caught. But he pops on the goggles, which I guess it's kind of the equivalent of, He pops on the goggles, and what does he see? He sees his wife talking to her boss, which she mentioned earlier in this segment.
Yeah, the first time we see her, she's pissed off that the fucking boss wouldn't give her a raise. She was counting on it.
Yeah, that the boss is a Scrooge, and that she's not very pleased with him. She didn't get a raise.
So we see her from the boss's perspective.
Yep, and we see her give the boss a coffee. We see him getting sleepy and passing out, and then waking up being tied to a chair.
in a Dexter room.
Yep. And she comes out wearing, I think she was wearing a poncho, like a plastic poncho.
Yeah, and all the walls are surrounded by, like, thick, opaque tarps.
Yep.
And she's telling him, like, you've been you've been very bad this year, and we're counting on those raises, you tight son of a bitch.
Yes. And we see her with a big ass electric saw start carving.
It's a turkey carver.
Yep. Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was a turkey carver.
Oh shit!
It was an electric carving knife.
Okay, I was thinking like a reciprocating saw or something. Okay, but maybe I think.
Well, that's essentially what it is, isn't it?
It was getting close to the end of the movie, so I was starting to lose interest, I think. But anyway, we see her start carving into her boss, and this one ends with Seth Green's character realizing that he just watched his wife kill her boss.
And he thought he had something to feel guilty about.
Yes.
So now it leads to that ambiguity where she could have seen the sex thing, or she could have seen him leave a dying man to take what is rightfully his, and that could have been what turned her on.
Yes. Okay, so the good about this one.
It had a good concept and a happy ending, all things considered. Maybe he realizes that he's not some coward or some asshole, and that the second he showed some confidence and murdered somebody, that the wife is that his marriage is now safe. His wife respects him.
Yeah.
And it's because she's a psycho killer herself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a happy ending. His marriage is saved. He's just living with someone who thinks nothing about mutilating someone who pisses them off. So the marriage is good for now, and so is his life.
Sure, okay. The only thing I put in good about this was the final scene, seeing the wife go all Dexter on her boss.
As far as the bad goes, it didn't, I guess I'm starting to, be relative with everything else that I was watching, because I didn't have a bad. It was moderately well-paced, established who the characters are, what their characters are like, and, what happened, how they're dealing with it. And there's somewhat of an ending, some kind of resolution, which is really more than you can ask for with everything that's preceded it thus far.
That's true. This one was a little more finite than the earlier ones, for sure.
Yeah, so I got no bad for that.
I had for the bad this stupid concept for the VR goggles.
Oh yeah, it's fucking magic.
Well, first of all, they look cheap as fuck. Yeah, and they just create a very
it doesn't look like it's some computer simulated
image. No, it's not
it's we just put a camera into someone else's house and
exactly.
did this.
It was just it didn't look virtual at all. It was just it creates a random spontaneous film that you're a part of, and apparently you can even feel, but
yeah, no rendered graphics or anything. It is just we have a camera in someone's house.
Pretty much. So that was dumb. That was just bad. I didn't even have anything.
What the fuck?
I didn't have a what the fuck, really.
Me neither.
So this one, it was. I don't want to say it's good, but better than.
It's the least shit.
Yeah, well, up till now it is. Let's. So we got one more, and they ended off with New Year's Eve. This one was my favorite out of all of them. And I know when I say favorite, if I was going to ask what's your favorite out of all of these, it's as if I took you down to the sewer and asked you which turd do you think is the prettiest. But this one was my favorite, the New Year's Eve one.
Which floating turd do you think has the most character?
Exactly.
Yeah, we start off in some poorly lit area that we're looking through a scrapbook, and we're seeing women that apparently seem to be like either drunk or at a party or something. But as we progress, as we flip through more and more of the pages, we start to see like they're like tied to a chair, and they're not really like partying like woohoo. They're like, let me out, fuck. Like we can see that they're increasingly distressed, and then we see a woman tied to a chair with a party hat on her head. And this guy is just like saying, well, Margaret, I just want someone I can spend New Year's Eve with, someone that gets me, that accepts me, and then like he like goes to kill her, shoot her, but then like the gun jams, so he fixes it and then he kills her. And then we see like his profile show up on this girl's computer, and she's just like watching TV crying. She's like some lonely girl. And she's just like, well, it's got to be better than the other assholes. So they end up meeting, and then we get a real good look at this guy's grill. I mean, motherfucker.
Jesus, holy.
Just rinse your mouth with bleach, okay? Just gurgle some Javex.
No, remove them and start over.
Yeah, that might be better. Like, whatever is... Yeah, I don't even know if bleach would do it or not. Like, at best, they may take them from, like, pissy nicotine to, like, pale corn.
Yeah. So we think we know what's going on here. Is this guy is obviously is established right from the start that he's a psycho killer, and he's killing...
Qu'est-ce
He... Oh, nice reference. So he is, connecting with women.
We think that she's next.
Yeah, that she's going to be the next victim because...
She's going to say the wrong thing, and then he's going to go back to old habits.
Yes.
But she's picking up what he's putting down.
He gets invited back to her apartment.
Yeah, no matter what goofy, awful, maladjusted thing he ends up saying, she's just like, well, shit, we've all got our quirks.
Yeah.
Like, she's just accepting and nice, and he doesn't know how to handle this. Like, usually I'm a disgusting friggin' asshole.
Mm-hmm. Which he is, but he gets invited back to her apartment, so things are looking his way, and he, after talking a little bit, looks like things are going to go. She's, starting to take off her clothes, and he said, I'm going to go freshen up. Goes to her washroom. Does he take out chloroform?
Yeah, a rag and chloroform. Despite the fact that everything's going well, and he doesn't fucking need the chloroform. Like, everything so far, she is liking him. Like, when he goes to the bathroom, we can see her taking off her shirt.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, everything is down for fun.
It looks like she is definitely, she's all ready to go. And he goes to the bathroom, takes it to chloroform. I guess old habits die hard.
Just like his victims.
But we discover that
oh yeah, he opens up the medicine cabinet. I think he's just being a snoop.
Yeah.
And there we get to see jars with eyeballs, brains, fingers, and they have names like Reggie, Donald, Paul.
Yep.
And he's just like, what the fuck?
She's got jars of body parts in her bathroom, and that's when this thing was the only one that I didn't know. I wasn't quite sure where this one was going to go, but yep, the door comes flying open.
She's got an axe.
She wasn't taking off her clothes to get down. She was covering herself in a friggin' poncho so she wouldn't get the mess.
She was wearing like a nice poncho tarp.
And she starts swinging an axe at him.
And she's like screaming at him in Spanish.
Yeah, she is.
Puta gringa.
And so a fight ensues. They get knocked around a little bit.
Oh, she swings the axe, chops the sink into pieces.
Yep.
Which he throws a piece of the sink at her head.
Oh yeah.
To me, I was laughing at this point. Like, this is like some great, like, they're both psycho killers. Who the fuck do I root for here?
Exactly.
And she's just like losing her mind, like chasing him, screaming at him in Spanish, like as if he just like slapped her mother in the face. Like, she has got like an uncharacteristic amount of rage.
Yeah, he's going. And you know what? Honestly, at this point, I thought, holy crap, they're both. It's going to be like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith thing. Where they're trying to kill each other and they're eventually going to start making out and find out that they're meant for each other and they're going to be like a psycho killer couple. But no.
Yeah, looking for their unicorn that they team up and chop up together on OkCupid.
Yeah, but that thought was quickly dismissed when he scrambles at the door and falls, and she chops his foot off.
Ooh, and then like he crawls away, so he leaves his foot behind. Oh, and then he like crawls towards the door, which now has a deadbolt on it.
Which was probably one of the best scenes in the movie, him getting his foot chopped off.
Oh, that was good. That was good effects right there.
Not bad at all.
It looked like an actual foot being chopped off and left behind.
Yep. And he reacted like, in pain, just trying to squirm away. And they tussle some more. Poor old, I think his name was Reggie.
Yeah.
They wrestle some more in the living room.
Oh, we forgot to mention, didn't we see, just before all the calamity ensues, that there is an empty jar with his name on it?
Yes, there was. She had planned from the start to do this, to take him out. But yeah, so they tussle. She gets knocked around quite a bit. Like, even with 1 foot, he puts up a fight.
And then he draws his gun, gets the drop on her, pulls the trigger, and he never didn't learn his lesson. The gun jams again. Mm-hmm. And you know what else gets jammed? The axe into his skull,
which was very nicely done, I must say.
Excellent delivery.
Like the foot chop. Whoever did the effects for this one did a great job, because that foot chop and then the axe through the skull, very nice.
Hey, pieces. When you drive an axe through someone's skull, this is what happens.
Exactly.
It doesn't bounce.
And so yeah, Reggie is dead. She won out, and she kills him just as the ball drops for New Year's for New Year's Eve. Perfect timing.
Yeah, and then again, no resolution, no nothing.
Yeah.
But so for my good, I have to say, nice pathos. An asshole. Whether an asshole gets his just desserts, although it's not through anybody actually. Seemingly, nobody's doing their research.
Yep.
It's just a coincidence that he happens to get what he deserves.
Like, this was just coincidence. I don't have much. Yeah, that was good. The whole thing was good. I like this one was actually a good story. Had a nice set up a nice premise and ended it well.
I have no bad.
I don't really have a bad for this one other than Reggie's teeth. I'm not even sure what the point of that was, to give him like bad teeth, because it really wouldn't have made a difference to the story.
Yeah, it didn't. Like, his appearance or his awkward nature had nothing to do with the story. He could have been some Jason Bateman motherfucker who was like tall, muscular, good looking, like a real honey trap.
Yeah.
Just luring all these women in. And then he's just like, you're just not perfect. You don't understand, and you can't. That's why you have to die, because you'll never be her. You'll never be her. She's perfect.
So, yeah, that didn't really make much sense. I guess I could put that. But all in all, this one was good. Like, it was simple. Very, well, they're all fast-paced, but this one actually got right to the point. Like, it started off good. You think you know where it's going.
Yeah. There's fast-paced, and then there's rushing to nowhere.
Yeah. You think you know where it's going. This one was probably like I don't want to say it wasn't predictable, because you
would have to assume something's wrong with her when all of his fuck ups and foibles aren't scaring her off. You already know off the bat that like she's not settling for him. There's something wrong here.
Yeah, and it took me off. I didn't think one was going to kill the other. Like I said, I thought it was going to they'd end up just being a serial killer couple at the end. They realized they were a perfect match for each other.
Yeah, that they'd like try to kill each other and then end up like making out and fucking.
So good for them. So actually, like, this was actually, maybe I'm just sleepy right now because it's late. We've been doing this for a while. This is like going to end up be a much longer episode than usual, but yeah, this one I won't say it's great, but it was certainly the best out of the 8.
Do you have a what the fuck for it?
No.
Mine is just simply, does she kill absolutely everyone she meets, or does she just like hunt serial killers like a sexy Dexter?
Oh, maybe you think all the body parts belong to different serial killers?
Yeah, different guys that chopped up or shot up ladies, and that's her criteria. She can just tell from the way that they talk or act, just like Yep, I've seen like women have fallen for this trap before, but not for me. And
Oh, maybe that's a good point. Like, maybe that's it. That's what's going on there. Not like we'll ever find out because
again, it ended too quickly.
we don't get any type of explanation for anything that happens in these
Yep.
things. So, wow, we're done. That was holidays. we made it through. It took us an hour and a half, but we made it
Yeah,
through.
a little longer than we expected, but I'm glad we took this journey.
Yeah.
We had to do it justice so
guys,
that like everyone understands not to watch this fucking movie.
Yes.
We did, and you've already heard all the good parts there were to talk about it, and why you shouldn't watch it.
Yes. So that is holidays, and overall, besides like it got a little brighter at the end. Like I said, maybe I'm just thinking it's better than it was because I'm getting tired and I just couldn't wait to get this finished. Honestly, I honestly think we could have done just as good a job as this.
Yep, and there's so many holidays that these people didn't tackle.
Yeah, they were. They were kind of selective. I understand, like some like.
You got to go for the big ones.
Yeah, you want Christmas and Halloween, of course, in there. Easter is kind of a weird one to take on, but they did leave out a few, which I'm kind of surprised they didn't go. But I guess, Mike, maybe it's up to us to cover the ones they missed.
Yeah, maybe we can do like some unofficial sequel.
Maybe we should try writing our own scripts for holidays, like a sequel. So that could be something we could try out, and maybe that might make a great segue into this week's It Came from the Cutting Room Floor.
Labor Day.
Hey, what are you wearing?
Pants.
Yeah, white pants.
So?
Dude, you can't wear white after Labor Day.
Screw that, I'll do what I want. Oh shit, it's the Labor Day monster!
Ah!
Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa, everyone!
You're dead.
Oh no! What are you going to do?
I'm gonna kill you with this Kwanzaa.
Ah! Wait, what?
Kwanzaa. Isn't a Kwanzaa like a big axe like this?
No, Kwanzaa is an African American celebration of life from the 26th of December till the 1st of January.
Oh, good to know. International Waffle Day.
Happy birthday and International Waffle Day.
Ah, thanks, man. You're so kind. Did you make these waffles for me?
I sure did, and I got some great toppings on those. I've got maple syrup, whipped cream, strawberries, and puree made from your parents.
What? Oh, you despicable bastard! You know I'm allergic to strawberries. Groundhog Day. Hey, Sheldon. Happy birthday and Groundhog Day. What the fuck?
What?
Why are your pants off and you're laying on top of a groundhog nest?
Well, that's where the groundhogs live.
Okay, well, aren't you supposed to not block the hole? And also, why are you naked?
Well, if the groundhog leaves his hole and sees his shadow, it's 6 weeks of winter.
Yeah?
But if he leaves and sees my dick, it's 10 minutes of fun. At least for me.
That's not what that's about.
Says the guy not getting laid on Groundhog Day.
Wow.
Yeah.
It seems like the exact same level of thought and production, but, done in like 20 minutes, which saves time for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And,
saves time for the writers and for the viewer/listener.
Gotta say, not a big fan of that last one.
But it's your birthday holiday.
I'm an animal lover, but, I have my limits.
I think that's the most entertainment this movie can provide us, actually.
Oh, wow. So that is all the movie coverage for holidays, but we're not quite finished just yet because, Mike, I have no idea what you're going to go with this week, but I'm going to let you get to it.
Well, Well, we definitely had a significant body count for this week's kill of the week. So, what are our contestants? We have the blonde teenager who learned the price you pay when you bully an unstable lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
We have the guy who learned you need to carry your heart pills in a better container. Because obviously, in your condition, accessibility and speed were two factors you fucked up on.
Yeah, we've got a few that nobody actually died. So,
yeah. So, I guess I got to give it to Reggie and the poncho lady.
yes,
I mean, the chase, the desperation. Like, it wasn't a dragged out kill, but it wasn't too quick either. You had time to savor tension, to think, like, he might get away, he might pull his gun out on her. Like, there's a chance he could survive. And then when you realize, as established earlier, this guy does not take proper care of his firearm, and the last person it killed was him.
Yep. I'm glad you picked that one. I like that one. Axe through the head was good. I mean, cutting your junk off and then getting Vibe to death is would be a pretty cool kill. Except you don't actually see it, so that's
No, it would have been great to see him just and then him
explode.
split in half.
Yeah.
Or have his crotch explode.
But yeah, good pick. I would have went with that one too. So yay, we were on the same page. Wow. Okay, so that is Holidays. Oh my god, this was so bad. Damn you, Eric. Damn you.
You better start subbing on our Patreon if you're going to make us suffer through this.
We're
not going to go through this again for free.
If you are brave enough, and after hearing us talk about it, you just want to see what all the craziness was about, it is on Netflix, so you can check that out there. Yeah, that. Oh my god. So, okay. It's late. I'm tired. We've been talking about this stupid movie for way longer than it deserves, so I'm going to wrap this up. Oh, Mike, this was a journey. Thank you for taking it with me. And
I'm glad I didn't have to suffer through this alone.
This movie was an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, and probably the most times in that span of time that I said "what the fuck" in my life. You guys, if you have seen Holidays,
I had to take an actual break. Like when I saw Bunny Jesus, I had to stop and just be like, I have to talk to people on my phone. I have to just get out of this.
Yeah. So guys, if you've seen Holidays or you have some questions, if you have some other movie reviews for movies you want us to review, or you just want to give us a good movie so we can watch something good after this, there's several ways you can get in contact with us. First of all, you can go the old-fashioned route and just email us. graveyardshiftpod@gmail.com is the address. You can find us on Twitter at GYS_horrorpod, or you can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. We do have a Patreon page if you're feeling generous. You want us to keep our Netflix subscription going so we can actually watch some good movies. You can make a donation to us there, www.patreon.com/graveyard. For as little as $1 a month, you get to help out the show. You help us out with administration and promotional fees. Plus, you get access to some exclusive Patreon content. We post a Patreon exclusive bonus episode each month, so you can check those out. And we understand that not everyone has the money to give us money. You can still help us out a ton by going on to iTunes, rate, review, subscribe. In the long run, that's going to help us out the most. If you're not an iTunes user, you can still help us out. Whichever way you listen to us, whether it's through our Podbean app, through Stitcher, through Google Play, however you are getting these episodes, keep doing it.
Through Blood-Filled Goblet.
Whatever the case is. And I'm sure whichever way you listen to it has some way to rate or review us. And if you don't want to do that, just keep doing what you're doing. Listen to us however you're getting us, however you ingest your podcast. And share us on social media. Share us by word of mouth. If you know someone you think would be interested in hearing two guys talk about horror movies, then let them know. And Mike, if people want to hear more from you, how would they go about that?
Well, currently I am on break, but we will be returning with the Playing with Power podcast very soon, where we will read each and every issue of Nintendo Power Magazine, first to last, front to back. We will talk about the envelopes from letters from listeners, the envelope art, the game coverage, news articles, so much, and then occasional terrible, terrible tangents. Mm-hmm. If you thought this podcast had like a little bit of going off topic, then boy, you really need to check out this show.
Yeah, it's Mike's dream podcast because he gets to go off on a lot of tangents.
This is where I'm disciplined and restrained.
I try my best. But yeah, check it out. If you're a fan of Nintendo Power, if you're like me and back when you were a kid, you had a subscription to Nintendo Power Magazine, or you're just a fan of retro video games, just check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. And of course, once again, this is recommended by our friend Eric because apparently he hates us. But anyway, Eric, I'm still going to thank you for the recommendation because sometimes you need to see some of these movies to appreciate the good ones that we get to watch. So thanks for that. Check out Eric's YouTube channel, Hey Internet, Eric here. Just if you search that, you'll find it. But I'm also going to include the link in the show notes so you can check that out. And come back and join us again because we've got more horror movies coming up. And not going to say what it is, but we've got a much better one coming up next time. So looking forward to that one. Until then, I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Mike.
And thank you for joining us on the Graveyard Shift. Here comes Jesus Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail.
Hippity hop means Christ is on his way.